When it comes to selling your SaaS product, you actually need to have a proper sales process. When I first started selling my SaaS products, I learned very quickly there's a huge difference between just getting on a call and giving a demo versus running a proper sales process, following a proper sales methodology. Demos get a maybe at the end of a call. Sales methodologies drive to revenues out of the opportunities that you're working. Here's a big question though. Which sales methodology is right for you? And you're like, how many are there? And which one should you pick and how do you actually implement it? In this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 sales methodologies that are the top 3 for selling SaaS software today. I'm gonna walk you through the principles to apply so you pick the right one and you can actually implement it. And when you follow these principles and implement the right sales methodology, you'll be able to accelerate your path to that next stage of growth. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. If you're already part of this community, if you're part of my SaaS and go-to-market coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. Now, I remember when I first started to book sales demos for my first SaaS business. I would get on the calls, and back then it was GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting or something like that. Zoom didn't exist. And I would say, hey, really glad to have you here. Let me give you a demo of our product. And I would just jump right into the demo. Very quickly, I learned that demos don't actually convert to real revenues unless it's your mom or someone that already trusts you. As soon as you start to get some marketing out there, as soon as you start to get real sales demos with people you don't know, I learned very quickly that you actually have to follow a proper sales process backed by a real sales methodology. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 sales methodologies that exist in the market today that work really well for SaaS companies. I'm gonna guide you in picking the right one. And when you apply these, you'll be able to accelerate your growth. If you're excited to dig into methodology number 1, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. Let's dig right into it. So methodology number 1 is to follow what we call the top-down sales model. This works really well when there is a salesperson involved, obviously, and you are dealing with a larger deal size. The reason it's a larger deal size is because this software is going to be pretty core to how this business operates, which means that there's going to be a real transformation that takes place, multiple decision makers that are coming into play to actually choose your software platform and run the entire company on it. In these kind of cases, you have to go top down. And we call it top down because you're starting at the leadership level of the company or the leadership of the department that's going to be adopting your software. You start with them and you actually have to work through that buying process, educate them on the transformation, why they should trust you, and actually get a deal done so that they deploy your software. In the OG days, even before cloud software existed, even before SaaS existed, most enterprise software was sold in this way. There'd be salespeople showing up, they'd be giving demos, there'd be solution architects, and you'd work top down because the software you were selling was such a critical part of the business. The top of the people, the leaders of the company would have to be bought into it, which also meant that you'd be charging a heck of a lot of money. Fast forward to today, even with SaaS companies that are selling massive transformations, whether you're selling it to the enterprise or the mid-market or the SMB, if you're a major critical part of how they run the business, chances are you're going to have to go top down. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to figure out that they want to run your business on your platform. So if you're running a SaaS software where it's transformational for the company, it's core to their infrastructure, how their business operates, it's really a system of record, then you're going to follow the top-down sales model. And in the top-down sales model, it can take multiple phone calls, multiple Zoom calls, maybe even in-person meetings, but it'll be worth it because the deal sizes will be big enough. Now, there's a catch here. If your deal sizes are super small and you're still having to do a top-down sale for not a lot of money, that's a sign that you need to reevaluate your sales methodology and your sales model because it may not be sustainable. If it's a small amount of money but a lot of sales work to be done, you'll never be able to get enough reps and pay them well and earn enough money from customers to sustain that. So this is why with each of these sales methodologies I'm going to walk you through, there's pros and cons. There's the right fit and the wrong fit depending on the nature of your business. So this first first sales methodology is the top-down model, where you're selling to the top and it's a true transformation for the company. And in these kind of cases, it's a larger deal size, it's truly transformational. And the best part about this is once you do close this deal, you're gonna be so embedded into how their company operates, they're less likely to churn. So that's the plus side of this as well. So that's the first sales methodology. And don't worry, when you watch till the end, I'll kind of compare and contrast these three so that you can really nail in on which one is the right one for you. The second sales methodology is the exact opposite of the first one. Instead of going top down, you essentially go bottoms up. There's a pro and con to this. In order to go top down, you really have to go sell them on the transformation. You really have to talk to them. You have to build a relationship. It's gonna be a large deal. You have to get multiple stakeholders. There's a lot of work and it has to be a large enough deal size. So a lot of SaaS founders and SaaS companies eventually said, you know what? I really don't wanna do that. I don't want 12-month sales cycles. I don't wanna go top down. I'd rather build a really great SaaS product and let the users just choose to use it. So instead of putting sales up front, I'm gonna make it where random people can just start using it. And then over time, I can sell it to the wider company. And this is where the bottoms-up model was born. Some people refer to this as product-led growth, but it's a little bit of a misnomer because you may be starting with product, but there's still salespeople involved. The way it works is you get end users to actually start using your product. And in this kind of scenario, they will maybe start with a trial, have a single user license, swipe their credit card at like $9 a month or $30 a month, and start to get regular use. You then want to make it where they're starting to propagate this to other people in that company. So you want a natural way where they're spreading it to other parts of the company and more people in the same role are starting to use it. That's when the fun begins, because that's when you take your salespeople and you send them in and say, look, you have 100 people in your organization already using our software. Would you like to get a site-wide license or a company-wide license? Would you like to make sure it's compliant with IT instead of these people using it in a rogue way? That's why this is called the bottoms-up model. Instead of a really complicated sales process up top, you start by seeding it to the users. You still run your marketing to attract those users and get them into your product and start using and convert it to revenue at a very low dollar point. And then once you get critical mass at each of these companies, each of these target customers, you send the salespeople in and then you say, okay, cool, we have 100 seats or we have 50 seats or maybe we have 15 seats, but you still have 1,000 people that could be using the software. Let's talk about how we can actually make it where the entire company is using it. What this does is instead of going in cold and starting to sell a transformation all the way at the top without them really knowing if they can trust you, if your software is any good, you're essentially going in warm. They're already using your software. People will already vouch for it. Chances are they're asking for it and clamoring for it and wanting to expense it. And so this bottoms-up model is super powerful because sales ends up coming in the middle of the process where it's already warm and you already have momentum in a customer base and in a deal. And then they really go after the larger deal sizes where the entire company is buying the product. So those are the first two sales models. Now there's a third one that I actually absolutely love, and I think this is the future of SaaS companies, especially as you're looking to grow in a cost-efficient way while you're driving scale. Before I go into that, let me pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? On one hand, you can just go in and just do a demo. But on the other hand, if you are cognizant about, hey, who's my ideal customer? How do I want to sell to them? Do I want to go bottoms up? Do I want to go top down? Am I selling a transformation? Or am I not doing a sales call at all? I'm first actually going in and getting the users to buy it on their own, and then I'm going in to actually drive momentum. You can start to make decisions on how you're going to run your sales process. And this is where a sales methodology actually emerges. So if you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. Also, while you're in the comments, you should put in which sales methodology you're leaning towards so far. I'm gonna go to the third one, which is probably what everyone's gonna wanna choose, but right now, between top down and bottoms up, which one is right for you? One thing I'll mention, sometimes founders just choose the one that they want to create. They're like, look, we wanna be product-led, because they don't want salespeople. The reality is you really have to think about how your customer wants to buy. For example, if you have a system of record, a random user is not going to start using it out of the box. It's gonna have to be a top-down sale. sale. But if you're a system of engagement, if you're a tool that a single user can get value from, then a top-down sale might actually be inefficient. You want the end users to start using it, get critical mass, and grow. A lot of times, this decision is actually made by your customers. They tell you how they want to buy because of the nature of your product. So as you're trying to make this decision between these two, wait till you hear the third one, you should really think about what does my customer want and what's right for them? Because usually that yields a better result, and you can architect your overall sales and marketing process around your customer. Also, if you're in the stage where you're figuring out some of these core pieces around your go-to-market strategy, who are we selling to? What's the transformation? How do we communicate it? What is the sales model? When do the salespeople come in? When is it product? You're starting to figure these pieces out. You actually want help implementing a lot of these principles. This is why I run my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of this program, I work with you to actually implement a go-to-market strategy and help you apply all these principles. You don't have to go anywhere right now. I'll link to it below and I'll also tell you more about it at the end of this episode. Let's go to methodology number 3, the one that I absolutely love and what I use for all my companies. Methodology number 3 is a little bit of a hybrid of 1 and 2, and it's essentially called the land and expand model. The thing that I don't like about 1 or 2 is that number 1 forces me into large and long sales cycles. I have to go top down, I have to convince a bunch of people, it has to be worth it. So there's some problem around, you know what, it's gonna take a while and I have to make the deal sizes huge, and maybe they're not gonna be that huge. I don't like having to pick that. On the other hand, I also don't like selling a $9 product where a bunch of users are using it that are low intent. They might churn, they might not propagate it, it may not actually get implemented properly in the company. So these are kind of the two edges. There's nothing wrong with them, but I personally don't love them because it forces me to choose on quality. On this hand, it's high quality. I know that they're really going to use the platform, they're going to implement it, but it takes forever to convince them. On the other hand, a bunch of randos in a company are going to use it. I don't know if they're going to use it properly. And then I don't know if I'm going to get the expansion. So I don't have as much control. And I really want to have a proper sales experience and get really great customers. This is where methodology 3 really comes in. Methodology 3 is what we call plan the wedding. And otherwise, it's also known as a land and expand model. The idea around this is to find some sort of a middle ground between these two methodologies. And the land and expand model works really well for that. What you do essentially is you don't try to get a whole bunch of users using it for $9 a month, but you do think about what is a small group of people that I can sell to first. We call that essentially the pilot. So we go after a relatively small deal size for a subset of the organization so we can deliver quick value. So it's still sales-led, it's not product-led. So the salespeople go in, they pick a very specific use case, they pick a very specific part of the organization and say, hey, listen, this is what our software does, this is what our transformation is. This doesn't have to be a huge decision. What we recommend is you do a 30-day pilot at no charge. What this does is it essentially takes the best of both worlds. You essentially are getting a really engaged customer, potential customer. They're doing a pilot, but at the same time, you're not having to spend 12 months getting the whole deal. You're doing a smaller deal to get your foot in the door. And that's why it's called a land and expand model, because once you get your foot in the door, then you can drive success and expand it to maybe the entire department or the entire company and the entire global company in regions that may exist. So you can actually start small and expand from there, which is why it's called the land and expand model. Now, there's a little trick to this. Every single founder that I coach that deploys this specific model, I always teach them the mantra of plan the wedding. What a lot of people do wrong when they're doing this is they start the pilot and then they hope and pray that they'll buy the bigger deal. And what ends up happening is these 30-day pilots end up running for 6 months and 12 months. It essentially becomes a really, really shitty version of the top-down sales model, which is no good. Which is why I always coach founders. When I work with founders, we're working on implementing these sales methodologies. We're also working on implementing the overall go-to-market strategy to get them actual sales demos. So one of the things we always talk about is you got to plan the wedding, meaning if you're starting the pilot, plan the ultimate wedding. This is essentially the engagement. This is maybe the little party to celebrate, but this is the wedding. So plan the wedding. Once you start a pilot, you should create a cohesive plan on how you're going to exit the pilot and when, what the exit criteria is, and how you actually get to the next deal and the next deal. And you should co-create that plan with your customer. This is essentially what makes sure that a pilot doesn't turn into a top-down sale, which may be right for you, but as long as the deal sizes sustain it. So the whole idea behind this third methodology is you start with the pilot with a little bit of money, and then you expand into larger and larger deals and larger usage as you start to actually get critical mass in the company. So those are the three sales methodologies. Let's recap and I'll bring it all together for you. The first sales methodology you can follow for your SaaS business is the top-down model. You should do this one if you are a critical part of the infrastructure of the business, you can charge a large deal size, and you're okay with a longer sales cycle. The second model is the bottoms up. This is where you get end users to use your product first, convert to revenues. Once you get a critical mass in each organization, you send the salespeople in and say, hey, you got 10 users, 15 users, let's expand it to 100 or 200 or the entire organization. And that way you can actually move bottoms up. And the third one, the one that I love, is the best of both worlds. You go into a specific part of the organization, you get a small deal first, that's your landing, and then you plan the wedding as you're doing that small deal and that pilot. And you could charge for a pilot, or you could choose not to charge for a pilot. It depends on what you can really get away with and what the offer is that you make that customers love. Sometimes customers prefer to pay for it because they think that free is not worth anything. So you do the pilot and then you plan the wedding on how you are going to expand. Maybe you start with a specific department, then you go to a specific country, and then the entire global region, depending on how big the customer is. Or it could be 2 people and then 10 people and then 100 people. You can expand it accordingly. And that's the third sales methodology that you can follow, the land and expand model. So now you know my 3 favorite sales methodologies: the top-down model, the bottoms-up model, and the hybrid land and expand model. And now you know what the pros and cons are and which one is right for your SaaS business. Now, what you may not know is, TK, how do I implement this? Like, what do I say on the discovery call for a top-down model? Or how do I implement this for the bottoms-up model? Or you may be wondering, TK, I kind of know what to say now. I got it. Don't just jump to the demo, but I need more demos. I need more opportunities. I need to get myself out there in the market and attract these people. Or you may be trying to figure out, okay, I want to do a product-led model. How do I actually get revenues converting? And then I can actually put in the sales piece. This is why I created my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. In this channel, I share all of the principles, but in my coaching program, I help you implement them. So if you're in this stage where you're looking to build out a proper go-to-market strategy, it includes how you actually generate leads, convert them to opportunities, and then you run the sales process to convert them to revenue, or even put a product-led motion in there so the salespeople come in warm. This is all the pieces that I help you implement inside of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Specifically, there's 3 core things that we work on. The first one is your ICP. That's your ideal customer profile. Everyone thinks they have an ICP until they work with me. I follow a 29-point process to actually flesh out your ICP and stress test it with you and go through the intellectual questions that we need to talk through to pick the right segment of the market to target. Once you have your ICP, then I teach you how to build a manifesto. Your manifesto is your positioning, it's your strategic narrative, it's your messaging. It's the kind of thing that you use to actually generate leads, to attract the right people from your ICP, but also it's the exact deck that you use when you're running your sales call, so that you don't just jump to a demo. Also, once you have the ICP and the manifesto, then comes the third piece. That's your Broadway show. The Broadway show is a consistent set of sales and marketing activities that you run to bring the manifesto to your ICP on a consistent basis. Once you launch your Broadway show, and typically it takes about 3 weeks to launch it, once we start working together, you'll be generating consistent leads, you'll be converting them to opportunities and demos, and you'll know exactly how to run those demos. And for example, if in the middle of that, you want to add a product-led process, I'll teach you how to do that as well. It is an incredible program. I absolutely love working in this program because I'm working with founders like you to actually implement all the principles that I teach. It's incredible. So if you want to learn more and you want to work together, just go to tkcater.com/GTM. tkcater.com/GTM, and you'll get all the details in there. The better the fit, the better the results. And this is why we ask you to fill out a little form and book a time with us, and we'll actually get on a call to understand where you are in the business, what you're struggling with, and if I can help. If it sounds like I can help you inside of the program, you'll be able to join right away, and we'll get to implementing right away. So just go to tkcater.com/GTM for all the details. Now, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. And so do we. We put a lot of love into these videos. Also, if you have a fellow founder, if you have a team member, if you're part of a Slack group or WhatsApp group of other founders that would get value from this video, please Share this video with them. It'll just mean the world to us if you do. We want to help as many SaaS companies and SaaS founders and SaaS teams as possible. And lastly, I drop an episode like this every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon, that way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. But when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside the SaaS go-to-market coaching program, where we'll work together to start implementing right away. Take care, everybody. All right, new set. Well, it's kind of the same set, but slightly different spot. We're gonna have some fun with it. Let's go.